I'm the mafia. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's do it like that. Dun, 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 dun. Fashion invasion. And welcome to my very, very famous YouTube channel. We are going to discuss something today. Come on. But this time, I know that you guys may refer me as someone who's always talking about the fashion houses or designers in the western side of the globe, and I may not be more vocal about our um, own Filipino designers. So today, why not celebrate that by highlighting one of his talk in the town lately. I saw a nylon Manila article, and I swiped past through Jude Macasinag, and I hope you guys can hear me a lot better this time. Okay, so Kiberna, I have to use this time to be able to create. Okay, that's not a hindrance. Going back, I read. Okay, so going back to Jude's current schooling right now, he is in Institute Franchise de la Mode, and he's part of the first batch of design bachelor students ever since they merged with the famed École de la Chambre Syndicale de la Couture Parisienne. And I'm so sorry though that for my French friends out there, I may have butchered it. I don't. He may be the first ever Filipino to be part of that batch, that roster. So it's kind of cool because who knows, like in the long run of him being able to learn more about fashion, who knows, maybe we could have our own Lee Alexander McQueen or our own Phoebe Philo here in the Philippines. First ever, and I'm just super excited of how things would turn out for him. It's kind of like very great that he's able to break that boundary, or Philippines is still a developing country, and them being able to accept him, that's just very nice for this fashion school. Well, and maybe this is a little step to start up that spark, that talent of how Filipinos can bring to the table. Jude Macasinag article by Nylon Manila. Later did I know that it was edited by Miss Lynn Alumno. I'm just so amazed at how young Jude is. He's still 21. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some of the strong pieces that are very remarkable. I mean, for me personally, there are three, and the very first one here is the one that Eliza Molina wore as her evening gown in Miss Universe Philippines competition. It's what he called the Kinari vessel, and it's unearthed in Mindanao. It's exquisite artifact in the form of half human, half avian deity, finely sculpted in pure gold. So sobrang ganda lang ng gown, and but it has its own meaning to it, and I think this is the trademark of Jude Macasinag. He doesn't just create things out of nowhere, but he creates things with and create meaning to it, or meaning making. He wants to bring forth the Filipino tradition, culture. He's able to create that pieces, being able to inculcate the fashion scene in the Philippines and tradition, either whether it be through a terno, through a barong, and that's just really very telling of a very nice designer living Serving for the gods. Called this collaboration as Macasinag X Malinaw. The Alablis Foster tayo ngayon. So I'm just gonna be reading. It's not a show notes, but it's how he have described it through his Instagram caption. This piece is a prelude to a continuing study exploring concepts of divine through material objects and spiritual imagery. In pre-colonial belief amongst Southeast Asian territories, including the Philippines, the Kinari personifies the feminine ideals of beauty, grace, and personifies the feminine ideals of beauty, grace, and accomplishment. Gold objects such as the Kinari vessel serves as emblem to the power of societies. It has also defined either the efflorescence or decline of civilizations. Galing, galing. And he's kind of like taking you to a whole experience with the tradition in Mindanao, where I think even before we were colonized by the Spaniards, we have our own cultural structure already in the Philippines. Tama siya, as if it was poured over the body and left to drip. Ang galing. Sis! And the other part here is, ito na nga, yung visual album ni Nadine Lustre, which is, ito na nga, yung sunburst beaded top, where Nadine wore. Ayun na yung mga grammar ko. The top, made in 2016, is spirally crafted by hand and embellished with glass beads, gold thread, freshwater pearls, 5 centavo coins, a brass pendant handcrafted by the Tiboli indigenous community in Mindanao, and Chinese green jade. It's also the first garment that I made myself. That's what she said. And another piece which Nadine wore during the Wildest Dream visual album is Figure 1.6. He said that part of my Suvarnadvipa series from 2018, which retells the pages of the Boxer Codex. It reiterates the image from an archaeological treasure found in northeastern Mindanao depicting a human form, possibly a deity, on a plate made of gold. It suggested the pre-colonial Filipino sense of spirituality in self, nature, and heavenly beings. Saan ka makakahanap ng ganyan? Like, you know what, guys? We're still not yet halfway through it. One of the remarkable pieces that I've stumbled upon on this Instagram label is the anting-anting reversible pea coat tent. Sounds interesting. Here's what he has to say about the anting-anting reversible pea coat tent. It takes on the functional and visual codes of the universal pea coat as an attempt to create dialogue between garment and body with the notion of adaptability in mind. The garment is designed in a way wherein it can fully be built into a livable tent and reverted vice versa. The idea of protection, the core function of a pea coat, is translated through the tent, an armor of fabric and flexible metal rods that shield its inhabitant from varying weather conditions. This whole piece right here reminds me of Craig Green's Season 5 campaign for Montclair or Montclair Genius, wherein Craig Green is very known for his work with, like, outdoor wear. Okay, so lastly, we will be talking about Independence Day. This is a collaboration with Spina3, who is also makes 3D art. Here's what he has to say about creating this whole masterpiece, and it goes this way. Mid-quarantine, I was pondering on means of image and meaning making, and in fashion during a time wherein physical material resources were limited. One of the unique aspects in fashion is the possibility of creating surreal realities and being immersed in it. A sort of escapist yet also deeply personal and prize translated into fabric and shape on the body. Given the inability to find new sources of that experience in complete isolation, I attempted to seek for that individual experience in digital imagery. It's really very social and encompassing. And you can see the details in it. And the calendar, which we also have here at home. We have some of the hashtags down below. It is talking about like hashtag junk terror law, hashtag nasaan ng 275 billion, and mass testing now PH or mass testing now Philippines, hashtag defend press freedom. And I don't know what's the last part, but some details gotta be shown right there. Why do I have an accent now? He is really depicting how the social economic or social political climate have been in that country. Correct me if I'm wrong. At the altar wherein we have like as a viewer of this can relate to that as well. You know that feng shui right there. Filipino homes has these little minute details it is able to present in this. Hindi madali yan, guys, when it comes to 3D making and art making such as this. It needs like sleepless nights siguro with rendering, I don't know. And even that, we have that as a curtain here at home, and I can show you that picture. I did take a selfie because that's currently what my curtain is right now. Also very telling with the classes here, like social classes, where you see the lower class, middle class, and the upper class. The upper class is, of course, it's at the center. What I see there is heart evangelist. Yung nasa right corner, the one on the right is the middle class. Of course, the one on the left is lower class. But yeah, the one on the right, the typical good morning towel here in the Philippines, and there's some little references also in the middle, call it the middle class. But yeah, in that picture on the right, you can also see the Last Supper. Also, you can see the pink cabinet. It's also I see this as a reference with Mimiya, the Lucky Star cabinet. I think these books right here on the right side are also telling that pressure in Asian homes in Asian countries. I also have that here in my room. Parang nabitak-bitak na yung painting. It's a whole lot of vibe, and I'm so into that. My whole takeaway on this is that so far Philippine fashion has so much to offer, and the fact that these designers like Carl John Cruz, brands like Toka TV, TOQA.TV, and Jude Macasinag are taking the whole landscape to a new level by taking formal fashion courses or degrees and even masters like Carl John Cruz. They're paving a way for up-and-coming Filipino designers to keep their creativity alive amidst these trying times, these unprecedented times, or even with our own social economic background here in the Philippines and how hard it is financially to sustain yourself as a creative and invest more in learning, exposure, codependently. You need to work with one another, and it seems that you need to use that fuel for their inner creativity, whether it be by depicting the social political climate of your own country, LGBTQ plus community, or through Filipino culture and tradition to their works. Yeah, and I guess that wraps up this whole video. I just need to make this video as quickly as possible, pero parang mahirap pa tayo sa pag-edit. Kasi that's it for me, and I hope that you remember to live life fully and with style.